Hey everybody, Movie Review Next Door here, and I'm back with another review, and I'm going to try this again because I just had a fucking horrible allergy fit just then. So I'm going to try to do this without sniffling throughout the entire video. Um, and what I just saw, Madam Web. This is a 2024 superhero action film directed by S.J. Clarkson, and it stars Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, Celeste O'Connor, Tahar Rahim, Adam Scott, and Emma Roberts. In this film, forced to confront revelations about her past, paramedic Cassandra Webb forges a relationship with three young women destined for powerful futures if they can all survive a deadly present. So, what did I think of Madam Web? Well, it's kind of been the butt of jokes ever since especially since the Chris Stuckman video where he just refused to say anything about it while saying a lot, apparently. And I don't think it's so horrible that it's the worst film of 2024 so far. I don't know. I haven't seen enough stuff in 2024. But I also don't think it's this underrated gem. It is a bit of a mess for sure. Quite a mess. And I'll talk about that, but let me get to the cast. Sorry if I sound bad, I do have a cold. Dakota Johnson plays Cassandra Webb. She is the person who will become Madam Web by the end of the film. She's probably the most consistent person acting wise in this. She's okay for the most part. She has quite a few moments where she's wooden, but she has a couple scenes where I think she's pretty all right. Sydney Sweeney plays Julia Cornwall, one of these three girls that Cassandra is helping out to save them. Sydney Sweeney's pretty. That's about it. She's not that great of an actress. Just given this, I cannot say that she is a very good actress. But then again, I think a lot of the actors in this are very misused or just not great. Isabella Merced plays Anya Corazon, another one of the girls she's trying to protect. If you recognize her name or her face, then you'll know she was in the Dora live-action film, Dora and the Lost City of Gold. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. The one where Danny Trejo plays Boots the monkey. That is a show that I did watch when I was a kid, but I did not watch the movie. I have not seen it. Excuse me. She's okay. Celeste O'Connor plays Maddie Franklin, another one of the girls. She's fine as well. Tahar Rahim plays the villain Ezekiel Sims. He's the worst performance in the film, I think. Mostly because I'm pretty sure he's dubbed. I've seen him in other films before. I can't think of what I know him from immediately. Maybe Inside. That might be what I know him from. But can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, he sounds dubbed throughout pretty much all the movie because sometimes his words don't match his lips. Adam Scott plays Ben Parker, a friend who's also a paramedic, like Cassandra Webb. He's okay. There's nothing really special about any of the performances in this. Nobody's really doing a really great job. Emma Roberts plays Mary Parker, his sister who is pregnant. Again, she's just there, I guess, to fill out the cast. The main thing that I think went wrong here is that the script did not. This feels like a script that was written to give like the general direction a scene should go, rather than feeling like how actual people talk. Because you have lines, and I have the quotes down here. What is said in the trailer is not in the film. The meme line. That man's Ezekiel Sims. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died. That is not in the film itself, but there's a lot of really bad dialogue. in this film. Uh, uh, Give me a second. Yeah, after he kills an NSA agent, believe me, it's a good thing you had no idea today was the day you were going to die. Uh, okay, a lot of these are just fake, but okay, a lot of these are fake. Okay, they're teenagers now, but in the future they have powers and will try to destroy me. Uh, I actually wrote down some in case something like this would happen. I just want to go home and watch Idol. Bad Dream. Like the NSA agent asks, this is going to be a spoiler review. I mean, I guess. The NSA agent asks Ezekiel, "Bad dream?" And he says, "Not a bad dream. I'm going to be murdered one day. Don't do anything dumb. Seriously, don't do dumb things." Uh, yeah. There's a lot of really bad lines in this film. What I think, because Chris Stuckman made the argument, he was like, S.J. Clarkson did not have final cut when it came to this film, or she did not have control over this. That sounds like a load of horseshit, given that for a script like this to turn out exactly this way, that means that it would have had to been written by the exact same people, because this feels like a script written by one person that didn't get rewritten at all. The writer of this film credited, the writers are credited as S.J. Clarkson and a man named Matt Sazama. This is the only film S.J. Clarkson has written. Matt Sazama was the writer on Power Rangers, the movie that bombed, Dracula Untold, which is another film that bombed, Gods of Egypt, a horribly received film from Alex Proyas, who I think is a great director, given that he did The Crow and Dark City, The Last Witch Hunter, which I watched myself and hated, and Morbius. So you mean to tell me, Chris Stockman, that this film's writing ended up this shitty because of the producers and not because of the people involved? Now, there are movies that have been rewritten to be completely different films, and we had evidence of. Highlander 2: The Quickening got redone as the Renegade cut, which was basically what the original director wanted the original film to be. Because Highlander 2 had a lot of issues. The film was basically taken away from, what's his name? Shit, I can't think of his name right now. Russell Mulcahy. It was taken away from him, and he wasn't given final cut. And then later he did the Renegade cut, and that was much better received. And the thing with that is there's actual evidence for that the producers took over. They basically directed the rest of Highlander 2, and when it came out, Sean Connery very famously walked out of the premiere because he was very upset with how the film turned out. And I can understand his hatred. With a film like this, Chris Stuckman made that video like a few days after it had come out in theaters or something like that. So there's no way he had any actual insight into how the film was made. Yes, big movies with bigger budgets tend to have more restrictions on creative license and creative liberties that can be taken with them. But in this situation, he has no evidence of this. No one really does. excuse me, other than the some of the actors saying that certain things weren't exactly to plan, but other than that, we really don't have any evidence of that. So he's basically just talking out of his ass and acting like him working on his own indie film has anything to do with Madam Web. Now, the direction here is not my issue. I don't think S.J. Clarkson is a bad director. But why would you pick someone who has specifically only worked on TV miniseries to direct a feature-length superhero film? Why would you pick someone like that? That is what that is what confuses me. Apparently, she worked a little bit on Marvel's The Defenders, so I guess that's technically some superhero work, but still, it's not the same thing. And also, it's like, I don't know. It just feels like they just picked a director to pick a director. I have not seen any of J. Clarkson's other work. She worked on a miniseries called Anatomy of a Scandal with Sienna Miller, Rupert Friend, Michelle Dockery, Naomi Scott. Good actors. Um, she also worked on the Collateral miniseries. I haven't seen. But her direction here isn't that bad. Does it at times look kind of like a CW show a little bit? But for the most part, it looks like a decently budgeted superhero movie. The effects aren't that bad, to be honest. There are legitimate parts of the film where I was like, you know what, this is kind of fun. The bit near the end where she's like looking into the future in order to protect the girls on the top of the rooftop, and they're like setting flares next to these fireworks, and some of them are like shooting through the top of the building, and she's protecting them using this like bit of she's basically using something as a shield to like block stuff from hitting them. It's fun. I think the I think the um I think the conclusion of this film is kind of fun. And I think it belongs in a better movie. Because this premise, I think, could be very well done very well. I think. It's not a super original premise, someone having visions of the future and finding out how to prevent them. There's Medium, the TV show. There's A Deadly Vision. There's the other one with Nicolette Sheridan. I can't remember what it's called. Deadly Vision, something like that. There's been many films about clairvoyance or like seeing psychic visions. Here, it's mostly just the gist of it is just she can see sometimes things having to do with the three girls, or things having to do with her. So she'll see like a character dying when she's like, "Okay, you gotta stop doing this, or else you die." That type of thing. Kind of a Final Destination type of thing. Similarly to what else did I watch recently that had that kind of thing? Uh, I can't think of it. But that's what this is. It's kind of a Final Destination type thing, and I think it does it decently well enough to the point where I was like, you know what, this is kind of fun. This is a fun premise. I think it can be done well, and excuse me there. Uh, if the film had kind of just run with that premise, it could have been pretty fun. Again, the issue is that the dialogue is pretty bad for the most part. Um, you get lines like, "Look, a spider," or "I found the spider." it has many healing properties or something like that. And just no one talks like a human because I think this writer just doesn't know how to write. Yet he keeps getting like big Hollywood jobs. I don't know, is he drinking baby blood or some shit like that? I don't fucking know. But another issue with this film is that it's not really a Madame Web film. It's doing kind of the same thing as a lot of superhero movies have been doing, where they're like, oh, the entire movie is an origin story. And I'm kind of tired of the origin stories. I kind of just wanted to see Madame Web doing her thing. But again, I don't hate this film as much as a lot of people do. I think it's just the worst thing I can say about it is that it's extremely misguided in certain points. And one thing that I will say is very disappointing is the posters. Like, this was the original poster, just Dakota Johnson with the spiderweb around her. And then you got this one, her web connects them all with just the actors' faces and the suits that they wear for 15 seconds at the end around them. Here's the banner one, which also doesn't look amazing. It's kind of hard to see, but you get the gist of it. Character posters, which are literally just the same photoshopped face of Dakota Johnson. But here's the thing. There's these Screen X and 4DX posters that are actually kind of cool, like minimalist art that I think would have looked a lot cooler. I think the reason we're getting a lot shittier posters nowadays is because of weird like restrictions where you have to show the actors on the poster, which you can still do that while having it be a drawn poster, but it's just nobody wants to spend the money on getting an artist to do it, even though I'm pretty sure that would be cheaper than doing a bunch of Photoshop. Like this one. This is a cool poster. Frickin' even this one, it's not a ton. Feel it in 4DX. Like, it's kind of cool looking. It looks like comic book art. Like, why not have a comic book art looking poster? Even this one, where it's just a drawing of Dakota Johnson. It's cool looking. It's like one of my favorite alternate movie posters from recent days is Sniper Assassin's End, which it's a fine film. It's fine enough action. Direct-to-video action film about snipers, and the posters there was like an anime type poster, and there was a poster that was kind of in the style of old Charles Bronson, like 70s, 80s action movie posters that were drawn. Very cool looking. And that was for a direct-to-video film. If a direct-to-video film can afford it, I know the director of it, Kari Andrews, is a comic artist, or a comic book artist. So he probably did them himself. But they still looked very impressive and were very enticing to someone like me who's into that type of art. But I think the advertising, when you skimp out on advertising in that way, it just comes off looking cheap. So I definitely think that was a bit of an issue. But what else can I talk about? Frickin' oh yeah, there are some weird bits of like tonal whiplash. Like there's a scene where like the girls are in a diner, and they're supposed to be like they like Madame Web or Cassandra tells them to like stay in the woods for 3 hours while she goes and checks something out. And they go to the bar or to the diner. First off, they're playing Scandalous by Mystique, which, if you're a fan of bad comic book movies, you'll recognize that as a song in the soundtrack for Catwoman, starring Halle Berry. I caught that and I was like, really? Like, I've heard people comparing this to Catwoman in the way that it's like some people say so bad it's a good superhero movie. I didn't think that about it. But they're playing the same song that was in Catwoman, which is really interesting. Since this does take place in the same year that Catwoman came out, 2003. For some reason, I don't know why. But and then they play Toxic, and Toxic keeps playing during this like premonition scene where you see the Tahar Rahim's character, Ezekiel Sims, like choking them out and like killing them, and I'm like, this doesn't fit. You're supposed to be taking this seriously, but fucking Toxic by Britney Spears is playing. It was just so weird. But other than that, like, this film, would I ever watch it again? Fuck no. But can I definitively say that this is a horrible film other than the writing and the film kind of dragging in some parts? Not really. It's it's not great entertainment at all, but I don't think it's like so bad that it's like one of the worst superhero movies of all time. Like, there are plenty of worse ones. I'd watch this over Steel with Shaquille O'Neal easily. But I mean, I wouldn't watch either, but still. You get what I mean. But yeah, not a lot much more I can say other than it's just like a bit of a disappointment given that I'm like kind of interested in the premise, but yeah. That was my review of Madam Web. Hope I wasn't too sniffly. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door out.